And on to our first story, the ongoing nationwide measles and rubella vaccination exercise ends today. On Thursday, officials said they have achieved 82% of their 95% target for Greater Accra. The Health Minister, Sherry Aite, is nonetheless appealing to all parents to ensure their children are vaccinated before the exercise ends. The Health Minister, Sherry Aite, together with the Director General in charge of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Ebenezer Apia Denchira, toured some of the vaccination centers in the region. They first visited the Mamprobi Polyclinic, where health personnel were busily administering the vaccines. Reports indicate the Ablekuma area, comprising 3 health centers, have so far vaccinated a total of 217,558 children out of the 270,382 targeted. The figure represents 80.4% of the 90% target for the district.
And let's still stay with the ongoing immunization exercise, and as you rightly saw on the screens, it's common sight to hear children burst out, sometimes just at the sight of a needle. And well, Etonamse, who has been following the vaccination exercise, saw all the children cry after receiving the shot. Well, except for some children she came across at Choco here in Accra. According to her, unlike their peers elsewhere, these children took the shots as if there was nothing at stake.
Wow. But they are from Choco. They are in Choco.
Now, the Environmental Protection Agency has described as illegal the erection of a kraal at Abose Okai near the International Central Gospel Church. According to the agency, the site has already been earmarked for use as a youth center by the National Youth Council.
The owners of the project, which is said to have sprung up virtually overnight, are unknown, even though the news team has learnt the Accra Metropolitan Assembly gave out the land. No official at the AMA is, however, willing to comment. The project, meanwhile, is progressing steadily, despite several attempts by the EPA to halt it. Officials explain it is completely out of place.
First of all, there was a need for environmental approval to have been obtained. And then secondly, we think that that project will compromise the objectives of the Kole Lagoon Restoration Project. As we speak, there's a new project which is supposed to carry on from where Kole Lagoon Restoration Project got to, which is being carried out by Conti, and it's supposed to help clean up the place and restore some sanity into the place. And we think that this project would not serve the interests of that project, which is supposed to benefit the entire citizenry, as well as the river system that we have in the area.
The kraal is expected to house livestock, including cattle and goats.
We are looking at what the area is intended to be used for and how the proposed activity would influence the intentions and what the area is currently being used for as well. And we evaluate it on its own merit before taking a decision as to grant a permit or not. In this particular case, even though we don't have that assessment has not been carried out, our initial reaction is that the siting will not be beneficial to the environment. I mean, you can imagine having a crowd in the middle of a city. I don't think that is the intention for that area, and we must all stick to the rules of the game.
Many residents living in and around the project site will not speak on camera. They, however, tell Joy News the crawl will worsen the foul air they already have to deal with in the area emanating from the Kole Lagoon. Authorities at the International Central Gospel Church, located close by, have also expressed reservations about the developments.
Now let's head towards the northern region. About 100 junior doctors at the Tamale Teaching Hospital have laid down their tools over delays in the payment of their fuel allowances by management of the hospital. The strike on Thursday affected work at the hospital.
The junior doctors say they have not received their fuel allowance for more than a year, and several written letters to get management of the hospital to respond to their plight has yielded no results. The spokesperson of the junior doctors say the strike is the only means to get authorities to act.
And if they really need us back to work badly, then they should listen to our concerns and settle us quickly and get back to work. So we ourselves, we don't like what we have done, but as it stands, this is the only way to understand.
Public Affairs Director of the hospital, Gabriel Newtu, however, says management of the hospital will meet the junior doctors to resolve their issue and bring them back to attend to patients as soon as possible.
We will in no time reach a compromise so that the patients or our clients will not suffer unduly. So rest assured, we have our senior doctors around, we have our physician assistants, but we definitely need the junior doctors. So no cause for alarm. We will trust that sooner than anticipated, we'll have our doctors back to render the needed services.
All right, many thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
In a related development, the chief executive of the Tamale Teaching Hospital has handed over following his compulsory retirement from public service. A handing over note written and signed by Dr. Kent Sego stated, quote, "In view of upcoming pressing national and international engagements, I, Dr. Kent Sego, this day, 18th September 2013, hereby hand over the CEO and the management of the TTH to Dr. Prosper Akambong as the acting CEO. The handing over has successfully been endorsed by the board and management of the Tamale Teaching Hospital. Dr. Sego retires after a 5-year tenure as CEO of the hospital."
Now, away from Tamale, we come down to the nation's capital, where on Thursday, the Speaker of Parliament, Edward Doe Ajaho, was sworn in as acting president in the absence of the president and vice president. This is an opportunity many would relish. So we went to town and asked people, what would you do if you were in his shoes for a day?
Change the constitution. Okay, if I were the president for a day, I will first make sure that I will solve this kind of water and light, these basic amenities.
If I were president for a day, I will make sure that I tread cautiously and wait for the situation.
President for a day, just a day, I will try and unite the various parties.
If I were president for a day, I will eradicate all the rubbish in the gutter and everything so that people can live well.
If I were president for one day, what I would do is I'll make sure the little finance we have in our cafes, I'll help the needy.
If I were president for one day, I will make sure I will take control of our family members because that is an opportunity to me, and I don't know whether I will become a president. So if I...
Some of my paying that crowd, me free my friend school fees now, you know, this is a baby one fee.
Because if I were president for a day, I would help solve the water problem in Ghana.
If I were president for a day, I would want to unite the whole country to be one.
If I were president for a day, I'll help children that sleep beside roadsides and mothers, and I'll build maybe a school for them to attend.
If I were president, what would you do for a day?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess I just enjoy it because how much could you do in a day?
24 hours.
I know, but did someone say they would change the constitution?
That was you. Okay, let's stay with Parliament for a while now, because the minority in Parliament are upset at the emergency recall of all 275 MPs because they do not do any urgent business over the 4-day sitting period. Dominic Nitiwo, Deputy Minority Leader, said the work done during the sitting could have waited until Parliament resumes in the second week of October. The Speaker of Parliament recalled the members of Parliament to work from Monday to Thursday. The House managed to pass 3 main agreements: a $24.5 million loan agreement to furnish offices for the MPs in the Job 600 project. The project has been on the drawing board for 20 years. Also, Phase 3 of a Rural Enterprises program, which runs from 2013 to 2018, was also approved, along with another agreement on communications. The House also waived 2 tax requests by government. But speaking to Joy News, the Deputy Minority Leader said the work done, although useful, does not qualify for an emergency recall because there was no deadline on any of the agreements they approved.
Now, away from Parliament, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Mr. Alex Mould, has been appointed as the acting CEO of the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. His appointment, according to reports, takes off with immediate effect. His predecessor, Nana Boakye Asafo-Adjei, has been asked to proceed and return to the Energy Ministry for reassignment after his accumulated leave ends in January 2014. A new head of the NPA is expected to be announced by the presidency anytime soon.
That 4 companies are likely to apply to the Ghana Stock Exchange to be listed on its alternative market by close of the year. Koforidua-based pharmaceutical firm Intravenous Infusions Limited could become the first company to list on the alternative market. The managing director of the local burs has been speaking to Joy Business.
The alternative market of the GSE aims to address complaints by SMEs about the stringent criteria that make it impossible to use the main stock market to raise equity for their businesses. Ideally, a company should have been in operation for at least 3 years with a minimum capital of 1 million Ghana cedis to qualify to list on the main exchange. The alternative market, however, admits SMEs with a minimum capital of 250,000 Ghana cedis and who have been in operation for at least a year. Additionally, entities once listed are required to publish their financial statements quarterly, but the new SME market allows listed entities to publish their statements half-yearly. But despite the easing requirements, companies are yet to take advantage since the alternative market was launched in May. Managers of the local boards, however, remain hopeful.
We have had interactions with about 6 companies. 4 of them have indicated firm intentions and have actually commenced the process where they're going to appoint advisors to begin to collect the data that will be needed for putting together the prospectus or the selling document. Once that is done, then we expect the advisors or the sponsoring brokers to formally submit this prospectus or application to the exchange and for us to take on the process. So we hope that this will materialize that quickly so that before the end of the year we can have applications submitted for a number of them. One of such companies that has indicated firm intentions, Intravenous Infusions.
Kofi Yamo added the GSE is vigorously sensitizing SMEs to take advantage of the new market.
We are collaborating with the Association of Ghana Industries and doing workshops, countrywide workshops. We've had one in Accra, we've had Kumasi. Our next stop will be Sekendita, Kradi, then we move to Sunyani, Tamale, and so forth. The idea is that because we are doing it in collaboration with the Association of Ghana Industries, we are not doing just a public roadshow. We are meeting member companies of the Association of Ghana Industries. And these are the potential companies. And from there, we speak one-on-one the companies that have expressed interest in this alternate market.
The GSE has meanwhile set up a 1 million Ghana cedis revolving fund to support the listing expenses of SMEs on the proposed alternative market.
Now, the countdown to West Africa's biggest outdoor event, the Joy FM Annual Schools Reunion, which is set to hit Accra on the 28th of September, has begun with the school's live studio appearances at Joy FM.
The Joy FM Annual Schools Reunion brings together all students from all second cycle and tertiary institutions in Ghana on a set-aside day. This year's event is coming off on the 28th of this month, and prior to that, the usual studio appearances by the schools have begun. Last night, all students from Inglesi Amalfrom Senior High School and Kettle School took their turn in the pre-drama competition and studio quiz.
What is the tagline for Fiesta Condoms?
Next.
How many condoms are there in a Fiesta pack?
3.
Which stout in Ghana is less bitter but much better?
Today, 2 schools from the Volta region also had their turn. The organizers have estimated that this year's edition of the Joy FM Old Schools Reunion will be their biggest event ever.
Survivor! Survivor!
Okay, warming up for the big day, September 28th.
Who are you representing? Who's your alma mater?
At the Settle College, of course.
Yeah, disco boys.
Oh, yeah. Sharp. We
Well,
don't lose God.
Well, that ends the news at 6. Let's go through the headlines once again. Junior doctors of Tamale lay down tools over unpaid fuel allowance.
The minority in Parliament is unhappy about the recall or the emergency recall because, according to them, all the issues they've had to deal with so far were not exactly an emergency that they could not deal with once the House resumes in October.
And nationwide measles and rubella vaccination exercise ends today.
Have you taken your shot already? I'm just kidding. Okay, we have sports coming up after this.
Why's everybody looking at me? I'm not stubborn, I'm not naughty.
Oh, no, you're not. It's just today your height has come down slower.
Thanks to your director in the control room. Anyway, but you know the big match is coming up this Sunday, Hearts and Kotoko.
Yeah.
You've got to be at the stadium.
Yeah. Is that Accra or Kumasi?
It's in Accra.
Okay.
Very
Sunday,
close.
Where would I be? Okay.
Starts exactly at 3 p.m. but we at Joy Sports will begin our match discussions at 2:30 p.m. So you have to be there.
I'm predicting Hearts will win. I don't know the margin, don't ask me.
Of course, I know. But if you don't predict Hearts will win, who else will?
You see, so someone has to do it, and that person is me.
So I guess you're supporting Kotoko then?
Really, I'm neutral when it comes to, Hearts and Kotoko. If you don't want to know the team I support.
But when it comes to Chelsea and Man U and the rest, yeah.
She's not neutral.
They can all go away. I don't support them. I don't support them, but I support Tanobo Fakwa. I'm sure you've not heard it before.
Oh, wait, are they still in the...
No, they are
not in the league.
They are not. They are not. But next year we'll come.
Yeah.
Next year we'll come to the Premier League.
Okay, if you come, we'll lead a day too will come.
Really?
Yes.
Anyway, stay tuned. Sports is brought to you by the kind courtesy of Tigo. Smile, you've got Tigo. All right, you're welcome back. Now, all is set for this Sunday for the Super Clash Part 1 of the 2013-2014 local Premier League season. I'm talking about that big game between Accra Hearts of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, it will be big on Joy Sports this Sunday. We begin our pre-match discussions at 2:30 and the game kicks off at 3 p.m. So you need to join us at the Accra Sports Stadium for that particular game. But ahead of that, I mean, a lot of talk has been going on. The Kotoko side is talking, the Hearts of Oak side is talking. Let's listen to the Managing Director of Accra Hearts of Oak, Neil Armstrong Motagbe, on what he has on this Sunday Super Clash.
Every Hearts of Oak fan there whose spirits has flagged over the last couple of years, I promise only one thing. I promise hard work, and all of us must get involved in this hard work. There are some who have said this is too much talk. Every day we hear this, we hear that. For me, the talk is important for now, because if we don't talk about what we intend to do or what we want to see, it becomes difficult for people to connect with what you are doing. So connecting with restoring phobia and glory is important for us as a company and as a club. We need our fans to connect with the theme, restoring phobia and glory, and to understand that it is a long-term process. It will not happen overnight. And that's why we put an initial 3 years as the period over which we expect to begin showing the indicators that indeed the glory of Hearts of Oak is coming back. So what are the 11 indicators that should show to you media and to every Phobian and every Ghanaian watching me that Hearts of Oak is getting back to its former glory?
Arose, 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 be quiet and show.
And the man who will be at the center of it all will be referee Samuel Suka, and I wonder how much pressure will be on him. But we hope it ends well. But looks like Hearts of Oak and Kotoko are dominating the headlines when it comes to the local Premier League. But there are other fixtures that are also upcoming. So the fixtures will begin tomorrow, Saturday, and it will be at the Tema Stadium where Brekum Arsenal will be hosted by Amida's Professionals. The other fixtures are coming up pretty shortly. And then on Sunday, Ash Gold will host Liberty Professionals at the Obuasi Lenclair Stadium. We see King Faisal hosting House of Lions at the Babayara Stadium in Kumasi. Mediama SC will be at home at the Takwa and Aboso Park to Bechim United. Another local, no, that's Mediama versus Bechim at the Takwa and Aboso Park. Dwarfs will host Hazakis. You can call that a semi-local derby because Dwarfs is in the central region, Hazakis is in the western region. Adriana Stars at the Ajimambidu Park will be hosting Inter Allies. And then Wa All Stars will be at home to New Edibiase United. Now, yesterday there was action once more in Europe, but this one it wasn't the Champions League. It was the UEFA Europa League. Let's catch some highlights. Football still continues across Europe. Let's check out what will be happening in the English Premiership this weekend and the fixtures coming up. At the Carrow Road Stadium is Norwich City, who will be at home to Aston Villa. Liverpool will host Southampton at Anfield. The Newcastle will also host Hull City at the St James Park. West Bromwich Albion are at home to Sunderland at the Hawthorns. West Ham United host Everton at the Bowling Ground. Chelsea take on Fulham at the Stamford Bridge. What's going to happen? Is the Stamford Bridge going to come down once more? We'll have to wait and see. And then on Sunday, Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium will host Stoke City. Crystal Palace welcomes Swansea City to the Selhurst Park. Cardiff City welcome Tottenham Hotspur at the Cardiff City Stadium. And then that big match, the Manchester Derby between Manchester City and Manchester United, will be happening at the Etihad Stadium on Sunday. Finally, let's just take the La Liga fixtures before we go. Today is Osasuna at home to Elche at the El Sada. Saturday, Real Sociedad will welcome Malaga. Almeria are up against Levante. Rayo Vallecano are up against Barcelona at the Campo de Vallecas. Then we have Real Valladolid up against Atletico Madrid. On Sunday, Real Betis welcome Granada to the Benito Villamarin. Celta Vigo at home to Villarreal at the Balaidos. Real Madrid, they will host Getafe at the Santiago Bernabeu. And then Valencia are up against Sevilla on Sunday, also at the Mestalla. One match on Monday, Espanyol up against Atletico Bilbao at the Estadio Conera El Prat. And on that note, we'll do it for sports for this week. Is brought to you by the kind courtesy of Tico. Smile, you've got Tico. Don't forget to join us at 6:45 on the Joy Sports Center for all the updates from the Hearts and Kotoko camps.